When Steel talks, everybody listens.
Hey, 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 hit the horn, fire the mountains, oh baba, oh nine, oh
When Steel Talks at penonthenet.com, and we are pleased to have on the phone for the very first time Mr. Winston Scarborough, better known to the music pan world, especially within Trinidad and Tobago, as the original DeFosto himself. Good morning, sir, and thank you for being with us here at When Steel Talks.
Well, good morning to you, Jesse, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be with you at this point in time, indeed. It's an honor.
We just love to get, a bit of information from you and essentially learn a bit more about the original DeFosto himself. You are always early with your music offerings for the Panorama season, and generally you're the first person to have it available. How early do you start composing in order to get this early start?
That's a wonderful question. Well, you see, I never stop composing. I don't know if this might have something to do with just creativity, perhaps with creativity, and I'm also centered around certain mediums, and I guess because of the privilege or the accessibility to these forces, it is so much easier for me to put songs together. For instance, Book the Chaplain book, I have done a tribute for him, or I've also done one for 2013, and the one for Book the Chaplain 2012. So I continue writing, and there are songs that have already been finished, just only waiting to go into the studio and start to get them as best as I possibly can. So you find when I'm going into the studio, like Carnival for 2011, all my songs have already been completed. For 2012, you find I started extremely early in 2011, it gets to 2012. So I always book a year in advance, and I thank the Father for that first of all. You see, because I believe who God bless, no man does. And he is the instrument, he is the medium from which these creativities have been coming from forever. And then for, let's say, artists of the past, who many people might have been forgotten, I have never forgotten them. I haven't forgotten Lord Kitchener, I haven't forgotten Maestro, I haven't forgotten Spotty, I haven't forgotten Murder, I haven't forgotten nobody. And because I don't forget these people whose contribution was also significant, this is why they call that the outer inner medium. So I always have something called communicational accessibility. From beyond to here. So I communicate with these people forever. Black talent. I also have a traditional talent. So I continue to write and pay tribute to people who have given so much. And you will recognize the three tunes. I pay tribute to Desperado. I pay tribute to Funkler with a tune called A Raging Song. And I'm also pay tribute again to the Grandmaster, because it's only in Trinidad when an icon is dead, yet dead ever. But I try to keep them alive. It is important. I see America does it forever. Elvis Presley never died. Nat King Cole never died. But once you is a person from Trinidad that was born and create all this sort of music for people, when you dare, you are forgotten. And there are very few people take time to keep the memory of great people alive in this country.
Okay, what is it about your music, do you think, that draws so many in the Panorama arena to select your music for Panorama competitions?
Because I have learned from the best. Professor ask DeFosto, who has passed on likewise, who used to be, they call it the musical teacher in terms of arranging music for all these Palestinians and so forth. He made a prediction before he died. I mean, a matter of fact, he spoke about meeting his wife before he died, and he told her that this boy, because Arthur took me to him the very first time in 1973 to St. Thomas to play music for people like Ragin, Bigo, Kitchen, Sparrow, you name them, Blakey and everybody. And I think one of the reasons why this preparation is being able to be excellent in this particular matter is because of these people who are also creative ingredients into my life at some point in time, and at some point in time that make it all possible for that to happen, and to be their music and to get people to understand the importance of not just waiting 2 days before Carnival to get something done, so that the people can have access to whatever music that you have. It's a great album I've done in 2011, so I've only released thus far these 3 tunes for Pan because I think this needs to be highlighted long in advance. So this is a part of the reason why these are able to happen, how they happen.
You've released 3 songs. How many more on the entire album, and what is the name of your album?
12 shows on the album. The name of the album is Closure, the album named Closure. And closure means because of, there are so many songs on the album that pay tribute to people in this country of ours and things that might have happened at some point in the history of our country that need closure to bring a certain satisfaction, objective desire of fulfillment. For instance, 1990, the coup that transcended our country. People have spoken about that. This is 20 years later, and this has never seemed to rest in the minds of so many. So I did a tune called Closure 1990. Then I paid tribute to Makanda Daga with a tune entitled His Excellency Chief Servant. Again, this was 1970 with Makanda Daga, might have been about 50 years now. And his contribution is so much that he has never been given that ultimate acknowledgement. And I thought it was important to do a tune in tribute to him because of his dedication and commitment to our country. And I did look, for instance, a raging storm, Funplay, when they did Pan by Storm. 20 years later, the people still speak about a robbery that never gives them fulfillment and satisfaction. And it took a boat ride last year that I went on, which was the Pan Simbago boat ride. And when the DJ Food played Pan by Storm that was done by Funplay, the boat almost stood over. I had to hold on to safety. It means that the people is hurting for so long, and God in His own wisdom perhaps allowed me to be there to see this manifestation unfold itself. And when I saw what I saw, I said, no, these people are still hurting after 20 years. And by Storm, still one of the people's greatest pieces of music. I said, this needs to get some closure. So I have decided on the boat of itself to start writing a tune called A Raging Storm, because the boat started to rumble all together.
Interesting.
10 years. Desperados never won a Panama for 10 years. And they're the only steel band that won Panorama 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 years now, they're trying desperately to win a Panorama. And that has never been able to bear fruit for them. And the person as I am, I say, you know what, I think Desperados has done so many great songs over the years and never getting none of the judges. I say, well, I have to do something for Desperados to make these people feel a sense of glory and pride and joy. So I write this colorful entitled Desperados Coming Down. acknowledge his great genius. Since a child, I was about 3 years old when I first heard Krishna physical before. And from since that to now, he has lived with me forever. He passed on and he still lives with me. I remember before Krishna died, he used to come and look for me when I used to live in St. Joseph. Every time he had time, Krishna would take time to come and look for me. When I moved from St. Joseph and I went to Crep, Krishna followed me up the street to Crep. He reminded me of the tune called Bees Melody. He always looked for this person who he seemed to have trust in musically. And in Panorama, if you really listen to that particular telephone, analyze it the best that you can, and you will see the genius of this man called Krishna in the magical way in which he used to compose. Because in Panorama, you will have to go right back down to City 99 first, because people may not really understand totally the people pass, they don't go back to 5099. Once you go to 5099, I go back there, anywhere, with a big but I want it to win. God, you got to tell people you don't have a face. No, that was the record and it's not 5099. In Panorama now, the person who Krishna lived with for a lot of his years was Valerie. He thought it was a boom. And his 4 children, Krishna had with Valerie, or Valerie had with Krishna, who analyzed in Panorama. And that is going to tell you the greatness of Krishna, because in Panorama is what is called a double and part-time telescope. And when I say in the chorus, the 2 years, it was 21, we did decide to feel right. A party, in Panorama. Now, these are the words that Krishna would use. Party, in Panorama. So this kind of double meaning, I am emulating him.
Okay, you have composed songs, of course, geared towards specific steel orchestras, like last year's All Stars and, of course, Desperados Coming Down and Raging Storm for 2011 for Desperados on Fontclair, respectively. You do have in Panorama. Do you think that when songs are geared towards specific bands, do you think that it kind of limits the number of potential bands who will play your music?
Not necessarily. For me, that is not. For me, it's not how much band or if the whole fraternity play the first. Not necessarily. I am the patriot. I am the person who normally, respectively, decided a couple of years ago to pay tribute to certain field bands and their legacy over these years. So I started off at Renegades, as you remember, and I did Dr. Dix. Then I went to All Stars, I did Smooth Sailing. Now this year is a Raging Storm for Fontclair, also Desperados Coming Down for Desperados. For 2012, I'm doing one for both these. 2013, I do one for Pelham and Exeter. And I can go on like this, go on as long as I have life, I'll do this. So it doesn't matter, because everybody know that I am the tribute person, and I pay tribute to everything and everybody. So it doesn't matter, but I said to do an open tune. So the open tune is in Panorama. So if you're frightened, if you don't want to play Desperados, you don't want to play the Raging Storm, you have in Panorama.
All right. There is no fee paid by bands to use the music of composers. So how do you make your living, and how do you survive financially from month to month and year to year?
That is a beautiful question that you ask. Well, I am not a praying man, but I pray a lot. I thank the Father and I reach out to him in the best way I possibly can. I am all ask him, Father, how am I surviving? I don't know what is happening, but I am somehow able to survive. Because it is not sustainable. You have to find money. Sometimes I go to the bank and borrow money. Just because I'm a culture person, and I sing and writing songs is my life. I thank the Father for that. I don't know if it's a punishment or if it's a blessing. And I believe it's more a blessing than a punishment. But nevertheless, I am somehow just trying to survive. Because of my name, because of the spirit that I came from a child, because of who am I, or who am I think that might have been able to help to some extent. But sometimes you feel, you're fighting a battle that is very difficult to win. But to win, you have to win at some point and at some point in time. So sometimes you look forward to things like a pan calypso competition in Trinidad during the season of Carnival, and they get rid of that some years ago, and that had not put a board in a dent in I be able to, at least if I don't win, I could come second. I don't have to win all the time, but these are the little things that will normally sustain you. So this is why I don't come out to America as regularly as people like me to come. But to come to America, if nobody has sent for me, I would have to use my money, and my money is too limited to do that. And I want to say, after 55 years, 56 years in this business, I think people should be more patriotic than that. And I think people should be more concerned about people whose contribution is so significant. Don't only write in the carnival season. I write in the season, out of the season, in any season to make the season. So I'm always producing, I'm always writing.
Well, DeFosto, that's actually a very good point, because it leads to the other question that I wanted you really to address, which is what would you personally like to see provided for composers of music, especially written for the steel orchestra, in the home of Pan, Trinidad and Tobago? That is,
what I would like to
as a major contributor to the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, what type of minimum economic and social security should be in place for contributors like yourself?
Well, I feel the administration, and I hope this new administration is able to do this, because I remember before the Prime Minister became the Prime Minister, I so taken by what happened to culture, people in culture world, that I went to her during one of the campaign sessions, and I said to her, Prime Minister in waiting, I said, I would like more to be done for culture in this country. So she asked me, well, what do you want? What would you like to be done before? I said, Panorama, one steel band have to provide 120 players to prepare themselves for a Panorama competition. By the sponsorship alone of a particular steel band or any steel band that has sponsored, they would have already spent some maybe about 500,000 to put the band in preparation, especially big band. I said we need to raise the stakes of the Panorama. And I was asking her to raise it from, I was able to get the raise from 400,000 to $1 million. If I was able to do it. And now it's me again, thank God for that, is able to get the move from $1 million to $2 million. But I was asking her if she can do for the steel band, if the steel band fraternity can get anything close to about the first price in Panama, about $3,500,000. And she said, you know what? She said, we all will rise together. And when she asked about the chutney, she asked about the Soca Monarch, she asked about the Calypso Monarch, all of these competitions. And then she has decided, that everybody would rise to $2 million and give a $2 million first prize to all these various competitions. And I mean, in itself, that is a blessing in disguise. And is in that context, I was able to tell her that there is much more need to be done to the Calypsonians that is still here with us. The icons, in particular, the people like you have Brigo, you have people like Brigo, you have Conquer, you have all these people. I start from the bottom of the great ones, but we have Luke Stalin is still with us, and you have very few are still from the shadow, and what needs to be done in that capacity that there should be, if it is not a fun, something set up to make sure that these people who live by this path, planet, everybody, there should be something set out to make sure that they can have a decent living, especially in their time of need. I always need, but people don't know because I don't say. I don't say because I believe I have contributed so consistently. And as a result of that, I am not getting that beneficiary reward for all the work that I'm doing. Could you imagine I went to cut just the other day to get my yearly beneficiary. The money, after all these silver play, food sailing and everything else and all the tools that I had for Panorama, and you believe the money that I collected from cut was only $5,000 TT dollars. After the year is over, $5,000 TT dollars for the year. That is the first for money. And plus whatever you make in the carnival season, the Calypso tent. So I really hope very much indeed that the administration put things in place. And I will be arguing forever. They will never hear my mouth keep quiet. Once the art is affected, once I am affected, I would never rest. I must speak out for those who died before me, who could not have speak out for themselves. I must speak for them too. I will speak for them from beyond the grave. I will resurrect them and talk on their behalf. So I am saying, as a result of this, I'm a hurted person. Even though I do so many music, I always ready for the people. Because I think I am people-centered, people-focused, people-driven. I have always done music for the people. You know, and the album for 2011 is no exception of that. As a matter of fact, I want to be bold enough to tell you that my album for 2011 would be one of the best albums that I've ever done in my life. But much more needs to be done. Much more. In Panama, I feel, look at when a steel band wins, with whatever tune, if a steel band wins, let a steel band win the Panama DeFosto, they're able to get 2 million. Sometimes they don't even tell you cash, you know, and I live for Pan. Kitchener tell me that, you know. Kitchener say, boy, I know you like to write for Pan, and you love Pan, but you don't have anything much to get from that. And I don't care. It's not whether it is much or little, but no, it has to be more much than little at this point in time.
Understood.
So you tell me it's not, you don't make no money singing tunes for Pan, boom, bam, but it's a Pan. They don't even call in New York to sing for the Panama, at least to give it some survival money. So how I just live, how I just make it. So I really and truly have to try to put things in order. Yes, I am hoping very much, my dear. What has to happen is that they have to put things in place. I think if a steel band wins the Panama, and if I could get the steel band at least to get about $3 million, even $5 million first prize. Because in this lucrative business of culture in this country, more than almost $1 billion is made every year in culture. But you're still the art form, and everybody just silly baby money, some pocket sales, some kind of a pocket sales that, you know, I don't know how our people that survive that. I cannot survive it. So I try extensively and intensively. Because nobody is not dealing with the issues that affect the nation and affect this particular fraternity we call the Fire Fraternity.
Okay. DeFosto, we want to thank you very much for sharing so wholeheartedly and passionately about, you know, yourself as a person who contributes in such a major way to the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, and the concerns and the real issues that impact you as a human being within the cultural fabric of Trinidad and Tobago.
I want to thank you ever so much, Jesse. Jesse, I want to also take this opportunity to salute when Steel Talk for this moment in time in which they can reflect on a person who is dear to their heart. They may not know this. I remember when Uncle Crazy spoke with me last year, and he told me, why don't go on Wednesday Talk and see what all the songs they have. But when I look at the website, I only seen Wednesday Talk. When I saw Wednesday Talk, I was seeing a song. This is a song. So I tell him, I said, Crazy, this is a song and all. This is the title. Wednesday Talk is a great part tune. And I said to him, Crazy, I'm going to do Wednesday Talks and give it to you to sing. He said, 2 years, I said, I'm going to do it in a couple in 2 days. And I did it for him. Last year he sang it. So I really want to thank him. I want to thank Wednesday Talk. I want to thank the information they share to the world on the net. On Wednesday Talk, the Pan world, the Pan business and everything like that. Let me thank you ever so much for this moment in time. I thank you the people for listening across the globe. I thank you for understanding the pain and the difficulties that sometimes artists and parents, etc. have to go through. So let me thank you ever so much for this time.
Thank you very much, DeFosto. It was really good speaking to you.
Thank you.
When Steel talks, everybody listens.